Dear students, welcome to Dr. Deepa Dhake's NEET Biology, and in today's session from Transport in Plant we begins with the process of transpiration. As we know, transpiration is mainly take place from the aerial surface of plant, and this process is responsible for the loss of water in the form of vapors. So first when we begins with transpiration, so here you remember transpiration is phenomena of loss of water, and this water is lost in the form of water vapors. How the transpiration differ from guttation? So here you remember, in transpiration water is losses in the form of water vapors, whereas in guttation, as we studied in last session, in guttation water is lost in the form of droplets. When we study about transpiration, so predominantly site in plant we study aerial surface, that is the surface of leaf, you remember, is the main site for the process of transpiration. And when we come towards the time or duration when the processes take place, so predominantly you remember in normal mesophytic plant processes generally take place during daytime, or you remember in presence of sunlight the processes take place. So this part you remember very well, but sometimes the stomata question raise हो सकता है कुछ students को कि stomata are remain closed during daytime in xerophyte or in cressulation acid metabolic plants or chem plant. So in those plant you remember where the stomata close during daytime, in those plant transpiration never be take place during daytime, and that is a adaptation for the plant to minimize the loss of water. So this general part you remember. Now when we come towards the transpiration, so the transpiration when we study, so always remember rate of transpiration in any of the plant is always equivalent to the rate of water absorption by root. So whatever amount of water is absorbed by root, equal amount of water, you remember, nearly equal amount of water is transpired by the plant. So this is the reason that during daytime when rate of transpiration is maximum, so rate of water absorption is also increases equivalently. Secondly, if you want to study the rate of transpiration, so here we use one apparatus. That apparatus is called as potometer, and this potometer we use to study rate of transpiration. This part you remember for your NEET exams, that the apparatus which we use for study of rate of transpiration, so potometer. And what is the principle of potometer? So principle of potometer is mainly it works on the principle that the water absorption, rate of water absorption by root is equivalent to the rate of transpired water by the aerial surface of leaf of the plant. So this much part you remember. And now when we come towards the transpiration, so here first we study about the types of transpiration. So very well you remember there are three types of transpiration. The first type of transpiration you remember, the first type of transpiration which is predominant is stomatal transpiration. The second type transpiration which is to be take place by stomata. Second type of transpiration is again present in leaves, that is cuticular transpiration. Both stomatal and cuticular transpiration you remember take place in leaves of the plant. And the third type of transpiration is predominantly take place in, mainly कहाँ पे complete हो रहा है, it mainly take place in woody trees or woody plants. And here the third type of transpiration is take place by lenticel, and therefore it is called as lenticular transpiration. So one by one, first we study these three types of transpiration, and then we come towards the structure of stomata, because the stomatal transpiration is predominant, or whenever we study about transpiration, so we mainly study about the stomatal transpiration. So first type of transpiration we study here. This transpiration is called as stomatal transpiration. Nearly, you remember, 87 to 89% transpiration is take place by this process. So stomatal transpiration when we study. So stomatal transpiration means, simply you remember, when the process of transpiration is take place by stomata, then this transpiration is called as stomatal transpiration. What are stomata? So stomata, you remember, tiny pores or tiny apertures present on the surface of leaves. So those tiny apertures or pores which are present on the surface of leaf, those tiny apertures are called as stomata. When we come towards the stomatal transpiration, so we study when you use this statement that the tiny apertures present on the surface of leaf. That means what surface of leaf, whether they are present on upper epidermis or on lower epidermis. So here you remember, when we use this term surface of leaf, we already know there are two types of plants, dicot plant and monocot. So surface of leaf means in dicot leaf and in monocot leaf. You very well remember, in dicot leaf, lower surface or lower epidermis show the presence of stomata. Whereas in monocot leaf, you remember, leaf is isostomatic, or we say in monocot leaf, both epidermis, that is upper and lower, both epidermis responsible for the process of transpiration, and because of that reason, you mainly remember the dicot leaves are commonly called as hypostomatic, because the stomata only located on lower surface, and the monocot leaves are called isostomatic. That means the stomata are evenly distributed on both epidermis. So this part you remember for the dicot leaf as well as for the monocot leaf. Now when you study about the structure of stomata, so in stomata, here you remember, stomata opens for daytime, then leaf or the plant is called as photoactive stomata. This part you remember. So the stomata, in some majority of plant, we say the transpiration phenomena or stomatal transpiration is take place during daytime. Why? Because the stomata open during the daytime in presence of sunlight also, you can say, and such kind of stomata are called as photoactive stomata. What about the scotoactive? Scotoactive means, you remember, one of the most important point for your objective exams, that the stomata, when closed during daytime and opens at night or in dark. Such stomata, you remember, such stomata are called scotoactive stomata. And these scotoactive stomata, you remember, when we study the presence of scotoactive stomata, So scotoactive stomata, you very well remember, they are present in xerophytic plants which are growing in deserts and in dry conditions. Xero or xeric conditions are called xerophytic plant. So scotoactive stomata are present in xerophytic plant as well as they are present in chem plants. The plants which show cressolation acid metabolism, those plants are also showing the presence of scotoactive stomata. Why the plant develops scotoactive stomata? So that part you remember, to reduce the rate of transpiration, because in xerophytic condition water preservation is one of the demand of the plant body, and to reduce the rate of transpiration plant develops some adaptations, and among those adaptation one of the most important adaptation you remember is a presence of scotoactive stomata. In addition to that, one another modification adaptation you appear in xerophyte, that the stomata are present in stomatal chambers, so they are called as sunken stomata. So this much part you remember. Now we comes that how the stomata responsible for transpiration, or how does the transpiration is take place through the stomata. Here we study how the stomata play a significant role in stomatal transpiration. When we study here, I draw the simple structure of dicot leaf. This you remember, upper epidermis, and the upper epidermis is followed by palisade parenchyma. Palisade cell, you always remember, the palisade cells are rectangular in shape and show the linear arrangement of chloroplast. So here we draw this chloroplast. Every diagram in NCERT you remember, important for your NEET exam. Here the vascular bundle, xylem and phloem, I am not going to draw here, and then the loosely arranged spongy parenchyma. The spongy parenchyma is the tissue which is responsible for the storage of water, as well as it helpful in gaseous exchange of the respiratory as well as photosynthetic gases. So in this way, quite rough diagram I draw here, because we just show the structure of stomata, and this is the lower epidermis, and in lower epidermis the tiny apertures are there. These apertures are called as stomata. Now the cells which are attached with stomata, these cells you remember, when we study the continuous water is lost in the form of water vapors through stomata, then this transpiration is called as stomatal transpiration. And because of stomatal transpiration, guard cells of the stomata become deficient in water, and thus they start to absorb the water from the surrounding spongy parenchyma cells or from the surrounding mesophyll cells. Mesophyll in dicot, one thing you remember, in dicot mesophyll is differentiated into palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma, whereas in monocot this differentiation is not available. And slowly when the cells start to absorb the water from surrounding cell, so this demand for water reaches to the xylem in vascular bundle, and from xylem water start to move towards the stomata. So this you remember for the stomatal transpiration. And after that the second type of, so whenever transpiration you remember take place through the stomata, so it is called as stomatal transpiration. Nearly 89 to 91% transpiration is take place through the stomata. In majority of plant, stomata you remember opens during daytime because they are the photoactive stomata. In xerophyte, stomata are scotoactive. And if we come towards the hydrophytic plant, one of the most important section, for the stomata, that hydrophytic plant when we study. So in hydrophytes, you remember, either the stomata are absent or if stomata present, so these stomata are functionless. Commonly we study water lily type of stomata, Potamogeton type of stomata. So all these names are mainly we use for explaining the structures of stomata in aquatic plant. So hydrophyte generally show the functionless stomata or the stomata is completely absent. Now when we come towards the second transpiration, that is cuticular. So here you remember, in leaves of the plant at upper epidermis, thin layer is present. That layer is called as cuticle, and the transpiration, small amount of water is also transpired with the help of this cuticle. So this water loss, again this water loss is also take place in the form of water vapor, but when it take place through the cuticle, then that transpiration is called as cuticular transpiration. So this part you remember, cuticular transpiration means a very little amount of water transpired through the cuticle of the leaf, you remember. That is called as cuticular transpiration. Again it is predominantly present in case of dicots. And the third kind of transpiration we study, that transpiration is called as lenticular transpiration. When we discuss about the lenticular transpiration, so in lenticular transpiration you remember how it differ from the cuticular and stomatal. So stomatal and cuticular transpiration take place mainly through the surface of the leaf. But when we study lenticular transpiration, so lenticular transpiration is mainly present in woody trees. Why we say woody trees? Because you already know in anatomy section we studied that the lenticels are present in the bark of the tree, or आप study करते हैं when the formation of periderm is take place. So in cork region, some of the unsuberized cells are present, and these cells develop lens shaped opening, and those lens shaped openings in the periderm or in the bark of the tree is called as lenticell. So here you remember it is mainly present in woody trees, and lenticels, you remember, lenticels are lens shaped opening in the bark of woody trees. Commonly we study that the lenticels are present responsible for gaseous exchange, but in addition to lenticels, in addition to gaseous exchange, when lenticels are responsible for transpiration phenomena, then that transpiration is called as lenticular transpiration. Nearly only 1% of transpiration is only take place through the lenticular through the lenticel. So this part you remember only in woody trees, as well as a very little amount of water is transpired with the help of lenticels, then that transpiration is called as lenticular transpiration. So simply you remember, transpiration is take place by lenticels. Lenticels, the diagrams for lenticels provided in anatomy section of the NCERT. So that we've already discussed that how the lenticels are formed. So here this part you remember for the three types of transpiration. Now the major type of transpiration or major portion of water is transpired by stomata. So here first we discuss about the structure of stomata, and then we study about the opening and closing of stomata, that different theories regarding the opening and closing of stomata. So here when we study, so first is here we study about the structure of stomata. When we study about the structure of stomata, so stomata you remember, epidermal tissue system. The stomata is a part of epidermal tissue system in plant. It is a modified epidermal cells, and stomata mainly made up of guard cell, accessory cells or also called as subsidiary cells. And the third part we study that the small aperture is present in between a guard cell, that is called as stoma or pore also. Guard cell, you remember, always 2 in number. Secondly, when you discuss about the guard cell, so normally guard cells, you remember, kidney or bean shape, but the identical property of the grass leaves in grasses, you remember, in grasses, dumbbell shape is the identical feature of the guard cells. So grasses, you specifically remember, in grasses dumbbell shaped stomata are present, whereas in most of the plants or in majority of plant, whenever we study the shape of the stomata guard cells, so guard cells are always be bean shaped. When we study about the cells, guard cell, so guard cells, you remember, due to presence of chlorophyll, they are differ from the subsidiary cells or from the epidermal cell. So presence of green pigment chlorophyll is identical feature, and because of that, you remember, guard cells are differ from the subsidiary cell and other epidermal cell. Guard cells, when we study, so the wall of guard cell, you remember, show the speciality. Wall is of 2 layer. Wall show is consist of outer wall as well as inner wall. Outer wall means wall which is present towards subsidiary cell, inner wall which is present towards the aperture, and it responsible for opening and closing of the stomata. So outer wall, when you study, so outer wall is thin and less elastic, whereas inner wall is quite thick but it is more elastic in nature. So this part you remember. When we come towards the subsidiary cell, so this part you remember, the microfibrils of the cellulose are also present in the wall of the guard cell, and these microfibrils are mainly responsible for the opening and closing of the stomata. When we come towards subsidiary cell, so subsidiary cell, you remember, the subsidiary cells are 2 to 5 in numbers, and generally one question is asked for subsidiary cells, that the subsidiary cells are modifications of. So subsidiary cell, you remember, are modified epidermal cells. So subsidiary cell is a modification of epidermal cells. So these are the modified epidermal cell, you remember. And after that हम study करते हैं stoma. Subsidiary cell, what is the role of subsidiary cell? So subsidiary cell, you remember, subsidiary cell maintain the turgor pressure of the guard cell, as well as potassium ions are transported in guard cell through the subsidiary cell. So how the subsidiary cell responsible for maintaining turgor pressure, that we will discuss in mechanism section when we discuss about the mechanism of transpiration or opening and closing of the stomata. And next here we study about the stoma. So stoma, as we know, stoma is a small aperture, and during daytime stoma is open, transpiration is take place. Stoma is open when the guard cells are turgid. When the guard cells are flaccid, the stoma is closed generally at the night time. So stoma means, you remember, a tiny aperture or small pore we say, and it may be open or closed. It remain open when guard cell turgids, and when guard cell in flaccid state, then the stomata become closed. Turgid का meaning you remember for objective purpose. In terms of osmotic pressures are actually questions asked. So here you remember when guard cells are turgid, that means when the osmotic pressure of the guard cell is low, then the stomata become opens, and when opposite to this, when the osmotic pressure of the guard cell increases or it become high, then the increase in osmotic pressure of guard cell will responsible for closing of pore or the stomata. So this concept you very well remember for your NEET exams. Now when we draw the structure, very small diagram I draw again here. When we draw the structure of stomata, so here we draw the normally bean shaped stomata, the two bean shaped cells. Inner wall you remember, the wall which is present around the stoma, it is quite thick and elastic in nature, and it responsible for the opening and closing of the stoma. Single nucleus is present and the chloroplast with green color pigment chlorophyll, it distributed throughout the stomata. So whenever you appear stomata under microscope, you appear a green color structure, and this stoma guard cells are surrounded by 2 to 5 subsidiary cells. Depending on the number of subsidiary cell, depending on their orientation of subsidiary cell, you study stomata are dicitic, so stomata are parasitic, but we are not going in detail, because if we study the different types of stomata, so nearly 14 to 15 different types of stomata according to different systems of classification. Here we strictly follow the NCERT, because your NEET exam as well as your theory exams are strictly according to NCERT. But if you go through the reference book, so you appear a number of classification providing for the stomata. So it is up to you, but this is my suggestion that you strictly follow the NCERT. And now when we study, so this you remember, these are the accessory cells or subsidiary cell. Accessory cell provide water as well as potassium ion to these guard cell, and guard cell maintain the opening and closing of stoma or stomata. This diagram we draw is for the open stomata. So this much you remember. Now we come towards that we study in next session, that how the stomata are open and closed, because in NCERT only the potassium importance of potassium ion is provided, but three theories are proposed by the different scientists, and nearly these three theory play a significant role in the opening and closing of stomata. One theory is theory of photosynthesis, second is the theory of starch sugar interconversion, and most widely accepted third theory is proton transport theory or Mallet ion theory we say. So all these three theories we study in our next session. So for today's session, you remember this much part for the stomata. If you want to study the structure of stomata in detail, so you come towards the epidermal tissue system in internal structure of plant. The second unit that we study morphology of the plant in class 11th. In that unit you study about the structure of the stomata. In that part, the stomata as well as the dumbbell shaped cells of the guard shown for the grasses diagram is provided. So you can whenever you study the stomata or transpiration, one time you go through that part of the or that page of the NCERT if you targetedly study for your NEET exam. So for today's session, this much we discuss. In next session, we study about the next topic, and the students who are new for the session, they kindly subscribe my channel, like my videos and share my videos, and up to next session, stay motivated and stay blessed.